Well, it is Thursday, January 12th, year of our Lord 2023. Got Brandyfoot with me on Saturday here. How's your Thursday? How's your Thursday so far this morning?
Oh, it's absolutely awesome on purpose.
What a fantastic answer.
I know.
People make fun of me for that, but what I want to talk about here is that it makes a difference. It really does. So I put pieces to this. I put pieces to this on other shows, but I usually only get a small slot, and then I get in trouble for taking the show over. So we're going to walk through why this is important, and we're going to start big. Now, there's a reason that I don't have the first however many minutes of this queued up, because I really don't believe in a lot of what he says up to this point. And what we're talking about here is the Schumann resonance. I go through who Schumann was, but this resonance, 7.83, people talk about ascending. Well, it's not about ascending. It's about wave matching and expectations during that vibration. It's a different show about ascending yourself, but this is the basics so you understand how the mechanics work. So the Schumann resonance is 7.83 hertz. That's what we're going to talk about here for a couple of minutes.
The Schumann resonance. With each photon traveling at 300,000 kilometers per second, its wavelength equals the circumference of the Earth. The foundational Schumann resonance is 7.83 hertz, with higher modes at 14.3, 20.8, 27.3, and 33.8 hertz. The 7.83 hertz foundational Schumann resonance is the highest amplitude of the different modes. The Schumann resonance is electromagnetic radiation that is even lower frequency than radio waves. And like radio waves, Schumann resonance electromagnetic radiation is able to penetrate and travel through most materials, including your body. Modern sources of electromagnetic radiation, from 60 Hz power to cellular technology, have altered the background electromagnetic radiation that we are exposed to on a daily basis. With natural electromagnetic radiation, like the Schumann resonance and its higher modes, now having a lower signal-to-noise ratio than existed before modern electromagnetic manipulation. With lightning discharging approximately 50 to 100 times per second around the world, the Schumann resonance is constantly being fed new photons of energy, and therefore is a stable frequency of light. Considering the complex process that led to its creation, from high-energy particle emission from the sun to the creation of currents in the ionosphere, the Schumann resonance is considered by many as being the heartbeat of planet Earth. Since the Earth has had an ionosphere and lightning discharges in the atmosphere, the Schumann resonance has existed. Depending on the intensity, frequency, and distribution of lightning strikes across the world, the Schumann resonance can vary in amplitude, but is always present in the electromagnetic spectrum. While our understanding of the Schumann resonance is still developing and how its unique frequency patterns influence our health and the planet as a whole, there is a potential it can be used as a diagnostic for planets with atmospheres. Perhaps with new research, we will discover the unique Schumann resonances of other planets which have their own ionosphere and experience atmospheric electrical discharges. I hope you've enjoyed this geophysics topic.
We have. Thank you, long hair guy. Stephanie. So what we saw there is this picture. I don't agree with this representation, but what they're saying is that there is a protection layer that is an electrical engagement, and that this resonance, the Schumann resonance, is a wavelength generating and engaging force, like the force, right? So one of the big guys behind this is Nikola Tesla. And he said, if you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration, right?
Right.
So the vibration of your voice has huge impact, especially in your own body, where it literally resonates. Does that resonate with you? Well, I don't know. Say it out loud. So let's watch what resonant frequencies do to shapes and forms. Pretty interesting, right? The way that the frequencies match.
That last one is just beautiful.
Yeah. So if you think that, I got one to add in here. So if you think that that spending time around other people and the frequency that they represent does not have an impact, explain to me why this works. All the metronomes start in a sequence that is not the same. Those things aren't wired together. It's only the energy, motion, and frequency that they're exhibiting on the environment around them.
Wow.
Remember over here where they started? Yet over here, so if you think that your attitude and the way that you express your frequency and vibration around others doesn't have an impact, everybody ends up on the same page.
That's why some people have a hard time being around certain people.
Yep. They get drawn into it, right? Just like these metronomes. Now you take them down, put them on a different ground set, and they go back to their previous engagement.
Wow.
Take away the commonality, they don't work. So those frequencies that you saw, there's a lot of these in the middle. Look at this one right here. What's that look like? It's like two swastikas, one over the other. What's this look like?
Oh, wow.
Looks
A
like
whole bunch of quilting designs.
So all of these are sacred geometry. Well, these are called water blessing labels. I wonder why they're
Wow.
called water blessing labels. You think water and blessings might have anything to do with each other?
That would sound true.
Aren't we supposed to watch the water?
That's a definite.
Okay, I'm going to let this run for 5 minutes uninterrupted, then we can spend a minute talking about it.
Photographs of the work of Japanese researcher Mr. Masaru Emoto from his book, The Message from Water. Mr. Emoto's work provides factual evidence that human vibrational energy, thoughts, words, ideas, and music affect the molecular structure of water. Please remember that water comprises over 70% of a mature human body and covers the same amount on our planet. Water is the very source of all life. This photo shows the beautifully formed geometric design of the Yushi Spring water. This next photo is from the Shimanto River, the last clean spring in Japan. Notice the extraordinary geometric forms. The fact that the molecular structure of water can be affected by our consciousness, our intent, and our sounds is extremely important. This photo is from the Mount Cook Glacier in New Zealand. Mr. Emoto has been visually documenting these molecular changes in water by means of his photographic techniques. He freezes droplets of water, then examines them under a dark field microscope that has photographic capabilities. His work clearly demonstrates the diversity of the molecular structure of water and the effects of the environment upon the structure of the water. This photo is from the fountain in Lourdes, France. This photo is from contaminated water from the Yodo River in Japan. In this photo, we can compare the contaminated water with clean stream water. Look at the difference. Mr. Emoto decided to see what effects music would have upon the structure of water. He placed distilled water between two speakers for several hours while playing different music and then photographing the crystals that formed after the water was frozen. This photo is of water being exposed to Beethoven's Pastorale. This photo is the effect of Bach's Air for the G string on the water. This photo is water exposed to Chopin's Farewell Song. This next photo is water being exposed and affected to music that was designed for healing. This photo is of water being exposed to the Kawachi folk dance. This photo shows the effect of heavy metal music upon the water. Here now we can compare the effects of healing versus heavy metal music and what happens to the water molecules. Mr. Emoto decided to see how thoughts and words affected the formation of untreated distilled water crystals by typing words onto paper and then taping this paper onto glass bottles overnight. This photo shows the effects of the words, "Thank you." This next photo shows the effects of the words, "Love and appreciation." This photo shows the effects of the words, "You make me sick, I will kill you." And here we can compare the effects of "thank you" with the "you make me sick, I will kill you." Very, very different geometric forms being incurred through the intention. Now this photo is of a very polluted and toxic water from the Fujiwara Dam. Here now is the same water from the Fujiwara Dam after a Buddhist monk had offered a prayer over it. Prayer, that sound coupled with intention, seems to have an extraordinary ability of restoring water to its natural, harmonious, geometric symmetry. And in this photo we can compare the toxic water and then the effects of praying over the water.
What do you think of that?
I think it's amazing.
So this is an example of a different frequency of light that we're not supposed to be able to see. It's a long video. I'm going to skip through it here while we talk about it. You let them run it this later, it'll go for 20 minutes. And this is variable frequency engagement in representations of light. So do these figures and shapes look like what we've seen so far in the other representations of observing this?
Yes, all except, I don't know if you can tell, but it's almost all of them have the colors gold, green, and red. And a little of the white pops out, the light white.
I don't know. I see variable stages of purple. So,
Wow.
look at that one.
That is, oh my gosh.
So this is this is 432. This is how going through the solfeggio scale in the rating of frequency of 432 hertz. So we've set up some examples here where we talked about the fact that the Earth lives in a frequency modulated environment, and it's 7.83 as a baseline that's most effective. We've shown what happens when we step through all the different hertz ratings and the different shapes that we get. We've talked about how things synchronize near each other. So your impact with others, and then engagement and disengagement has immediate impact within seconds, right? Then we talked about the geometry states themselves. This is like an alphabetical index of different frequencies. And there's your water blessing labels. And the reason they're water blessing labels is because Masaru Emoto says, hey, look, this stuff works. This is the light engagement of differences. And, we're light beings. So where we should be headed. So let's talk about what happens in a greater environment, the sound that we make with our face, the sounds that we listen to and allow ourselves to be impacted with. So watch this. So what this is a speaker right behind him here. You can see the bottom of the speaker cone. This pipe has continuously flowing water, whatever the constant rate is, coming from a hose. And the sound is impacting the water, and watch what water does under the impact of vibration. And remember, your brain is 87% water. Your bones are 60% water at least. hertz rating. Like it's engages with the sound. Now,
The
next time
what?
around, that's water engaging with sound, and we're 80% water. So the sounds you make with your face and the way you engage with others is about synchronicity. It's about common intention of just not having a shitty day. It's that simple. So this guy, Leonard Horowitz,
Absolutely.
this guy, well, hold on. Let's get this going to blow your mind a little more. Don't put a bandage on that yet. This guy we're going to hear from here, his name is Dr. Leonard Horowitz. And he has written a number of books. One of them is called The Love Frequency, which is 528. He's going to tell you why. It's going to run for 10 minutes.
528 hertz frequency has been determined to be nearly the precise center of the entire electromagnetic color spectrum. There's only one number in the entire numbering system whereby the electromagnetic color spectrum is the same as the sound system. That one number is 528. Both the same in color and sound. 528 hertz frequency. A miraculous key that opened doors that no man can close and close doors that no man can open. 528. It will change your life in the most beneficial way. And now we have substantive evidence, massive amounts of evidence that is what 528 is. Ultimately, what has happened with this planet is that we are in dissonance to another note, another frequency. It turned out that when we discovered the original musical scale, there was not just 6, but a total of 9 core creative frequencies to the universe. That is, everything in the universe is made from 9 notes, only 9. And that the first 6 are the solfeggio, and then there's 3 additional ones that form a perfect circle of sound. And that perfect circle of sound looks something like this. If you graph it. So the first 6 notes, 396, 417, 528, 639, 741, 852, was the original solfeggio scale. The 528 that you can see on my left in green is the color green. It's the heart of the rainbow. That's the miracle note from the original solfeggio note, from the original solfeggio scale. And the other note that you see, 741, which is part of nature, is called the devil's interval in musicology. That when you play 741 with 528, it creates such an annoying and dissonant energy, dis-easing, stressful, that if you continue to listen to it, you could die. And so that the concept here is interesting. In the world today, we have people who are controlling virtually everything economically, geopolitically. Their agenda has been population manipulation, population control for millennia. They have held the secret knowledge, the ancient music, by which the pyramids were constructed based on the math. All of the universe is constructed according to these 9 tones. They knew about them. In fact, they instituted. In fact, it was the Rockefeller Foundation in 1939 that instituted the world's standard tuning. The Western world tunes to a 440 hertz frequency. That when you tune your instrument to that, the F sharp note is 741. Precisely. The A440 is what now is the standard tuning. If you go A439, you're closer to one of the creator's tones. If you go A441, you're closer to one of the creator's original tones. That's how precisely it has been manipulated. To do what? To shut down the 95% of your brain, particularly the right brain that operates the heart mind for the divine human community. Here is a metaphor so that you begin to understand what we're talking about. When you go driving your car and your channel on the radio is tuned to a station and you're grooving to the music. You love that music. As you get farther and farther away from the broadcasting tower, that music gets static. You start to lose the signal from the clear channel broadcast, and it gets staticky. When it gets staticky, you get a little annoyed. But you want to listen to it. You really have a heart for that music, so you continue to listen to it for another 10, 15 miles, and suddenly it becomes so annoying that you just get disgusted. You go, and you shut it off. And if you continue to listen to it, you get sick. That's what we're talking about here. Except you don't even know that you've been listening to the static your whole life. You don't even know what the true resonant frequency is because it has been kept. So in other words, the master composer, master conductor of the Universal Orchestra is singing love songs in 5/8, uplifting everything simultaneously. And we're the only species out of tune and accepting static for the clear channel. Dr. Masaru Emoto. He goes up on stage and he has a triangular, a musical triangle that he hits, like in an orchestra. He's hitting it over here. He hits a bing, and about 30 yards or 30 feet away is his interpreter standing here with the same exact replica of that same size triangle. Frequency tuned the same frequency. And he tells his interpreter to put a microphone next to it. And suddenly this one starts to resonate. He hits that one over there. This one starts resonating. How much of your body is full of water? They used to say when I was at Harvard School of Public Health, the truth was back then about 86%, 86% of your body, well hydrated, was water. Today they tell us it's only 75%. Hogwash, they've been dehydrating everybody with the poisons. 93% of the function of DNA is light and sound reception and transmission. Photon, reception, transmission for intercellular communication and cellular upregulation. You know what cellular upregulation means? It means precipitation. And then now, every millisecond, instant second, you're remanifesting right now in water. Water is the most energy conductive of all of the materials. It's a superconductor. Let me give you the fundamental, the rudimentary origin of the numbers. Here it is. The most important numbers, 3 6s and 9s. Again, Tesla, who created Tesla coil. Tesla coils, energy amplifiers. Your DNA is an energy amplifier, a coil, operating by the 3 6s and 9s primarily. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, you've probably looked at engines or motors, magnets that have been wound with copper wire. When you do that, when you wind the copper, coil the copper around the magnet, it enhances the energy dramatically. That's what your DNA is. It's an antenna to the Creator. Every single cell of your body has this energy capability. It has this divine intelligence. What does that mean? That means the first entities that you should be communing with in order to uplift yourself, sustain yourself, heal yourself, is the billions of cells in your body that have its own unique genetic intelligence, its own sacred smile to the Creator. And so this is the structure of the way that the universe operates, which does fabulous for us, our understanding of some of the most wonderful pieces of information to allow us to live a faithful life. A life according to the law, according to the matrix. Here is the simple way to analyze this. You've heard of what goes around comes around. You've heard of, as you sow, so shall you reap. So this explains it. Let's say that you're here and you are putting out negative thoughts, negative behaviors, negative actions. It's all energy. The neurology in your brain's powerful. 86% of you is God water. So now that's going out, and it goes out, and here's what happens. It goes out, it goes up, and down. This is called the event horizon. You shoot down through the middle of the event horizon, which is the black hole, comes out, spins back around, ultimately comes right back. Bringing to you karma. Bringing to you divine judgment. It's all according to the mathematical matrix. It's certain, it doesn't lie, it's always consistent, there's nothing missing, nothing broken in it.
So, does it make a little more sense?
Wow, does it ever? So basically, when people put different amounts of water in wine glasses and then they can play musical notes with them, it's pretty much because water has frequency.
So what's happening? What you're talking about is something like this. Well, let me make sure I like this. So what Randy's talking about here is so resonance and sound have much to do with each other, and if the water has density, it changes the frequency by its relative density. So this is an example of how you can make sound in that environment. Watch this.
Are you from Germany?
No, I'm from here.
It's also, you speak German, no? Yeah.
Is that Leonard Cohen's Hallelujah?
That is awesome.
Oh wow! He like whammy barred the table there. Look at that. That's interesting. So you notice how he keeps having to wet his fingers. That vibration as the water dissipates. That's what's the resonant frequency push in the glass itself. And the glasses have different layer of water, so we tune the table. So that's the example that you're talking about. Yes, that is very much
So,
the same.
in other words, when he does this, is he actually touching all of the glasses or just moving his hands over
No.
the glasses and the water?
Each glass is a different note. It's like a keyboard.
But he's touching the rim of each glass as he does this?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Because at some point,
he's like, well, it's actually,
At
see his
some-
finger right. Well, you can't see it, but his finger, he's Yes, he's touching each glass. He's affecting a vibrational
Gotcha.
change with the rapidity of his finger coming around it with a little bit of water on it. Just a little.
On his fingers.
On his finger, yeah.
Wow. Because it actually, when you watch him after a certain period of time, it just looks like his hands are just floating over the glasses.
Yeah.
Like, it's amazing to watch.
So we heard from Dr. Larry Horowitz, who is, I'm very thankful for his work. If you get a hold of this, Dr. Horowitz, please, I'd love for you to come on and have this discussion, get the word out. The resonant frequency that we are with us, human resonance, should be that resonance. Our entire heliosphere has been corrupted so that the vibration around us is disturbed by electromagnetic frequency, 5G, microwave ovens, light emitting diodes, TV screens, wireless, cell phones, earbuds, worst earbuds. So how do you get into how do we tune ourselves if we're not the right amount of good water, right? Horowitz talks about dehydration through poisoning. I mean, I think it makes a lot of sense. We started with, hey, look at what happens with water. We went through Dr. Masura Emoto, who shows some very startling and frightening examples of what bad water looks like. And we saw an example that you want to clean your water, just pray for it. Right? The prayer before mention of water. Isn't that amazing?
Very interesting.
Well, we're at 37 minutes. You want to cut this one and then move on?
Yes, I do. Good night,
Gandalf.
Gandalf.
Good night, Brittany.